So today I'm going to be sharing part 2 of my story of finding a job after college. Part 1 was my struggle of not getting any jobs at first, and I'll link that video. Now I want to address a comment that I got. I usually don't do this, usually don't pay any attention to hateful or weirdo comments, but there is this one comment on my last video that actually caught my attention because I used to kind of think this way too. And basically I just want to bring it up as a topic because a lot of people might also think it. So let's see.
You have a 4-year college degree from Berkeley and can't find a job? Question mark. How much did your parents pay for this education?
When I was, 12, I also thought that people with degrees from the best schools are the ones that get jobs really easily. And, that kind of was a shoo-in for the rest of your life or something like that. By the time I got to high school and the age when I was applying for college, I already knew that that wasn't true just from, life experiences, but not all of us here, I guess, have those. So I just wanted to lend a little bit of advice, and maybe it'll help some of you out there who are trying to decide what college to go to, or, thinking about career opportunities. It doesn't matter too much where you went to college. It does help your resume get looked at, but what really matters is if you have relevant job experience for the job that you're applying for. And in hindsight, this is exactly why I didn't get a lot of the jobs that I applied for. So I personally was looking for a really specific kind of niche job opportunity, and now that I'm in it, now that I am really in the industry, I actually see how many more options that I have. The thing is, you need experience for those jobs, and you need to prove and have evidence that you're able to do these types of jobs and do them well. So when you're straight out of college and you have no real work experience, you gotta start somewhere. And so, my resume was steadily climbing over the years as I went through college, and every few months my resume would shift, one thing would add to the top and then something would cut off the bottom. So my high school restaurant job started to fall off the resume slowly but surely, and I started to fill the space on top with more relevant work and more relevant work and more relevant work. But the tricky part is that when you don't know exactly what you want to do, you just don't maybe necessarily have the relevant experience for that job. I guess the reason why I wanted to address the comment was just to speak on the fact that getting jobs is hard, okay? It is hard. It is not easy. I know a lot of really smart people from Berkeley, from UCLA, Stanford, Columbia, and they don't have the jobs that they want, or they don't have any job at all yet, and they're still looking, and they're still taking time to figure out what they want to do. That's really the first problem, and I think it's where a lot of people get stuck. It's definitely where I got stuck, and I was stuck in limbo for way too many months. But looking back, I couldn't have done it any other way. There is no way to figure out what you want to do by just looking within and navel gazing, thinking about who you are and what you want to do in the world. That just didn't work for me. Maybe it worked for you, but for me, I kind of have to go out and try things and see if I like them. What I'm doing now sort of feels like home to me, so I'm excited to kind of continue in this space. But let me just quickly tell you the fun little story of how I got this job. Okay, so I had actually signed an offer letter for another job when I went and interviewed for this job. So that's the first thing, is I kind of went into the job interview of said job that I ended up taking and currently have, with a signed offer letter for something else. And I felt really, really uneasy about this other thing that I had signed. It just didn't feel legitimate, didn't really, it just, I don't know. Something didn't feel right. I had a gut feeling. Anyways, every other job that I applied for and got interviews for and actually, got past the step of just sending a resume or submitting an application online, any of those jobs, I always had some kind of a personal connection. So family friend, or a friend, or a college friend, or someone somehow knew someone at the company and, helped push my resume forward in the process. And I was kind of convinced at that point that this was the only way to ever get jobs. You kind of have to, you have to know someone. And the job that I had, I feel like this storytelling is difficult because I'm not saying the names of the companies, but just bear with me, okay? So I knew somebody from the cycling studio that I work at. There was a client who approached me about helping him run a fitness studio that he was going to open. And so this was the offer letter that I signed and did not end up going through with. But so that was going to be my job. I was going to have a managing role in a bunch of fitness studios. It was just the very, very beginning. Like, it was such a startup that there would definitely be no benefits, no guarantees, no retirement plan or anything like that. So I felt very insecure about the whole thing. So I had a breakdown one day, just one of many. I think I probably had about 17 breakdowns in the span of 3 months. But this was like a full-fledged crying manic episode because I was just like, I don't have a job. Okay, that day I went on Indeed, and if you don't know, Indeed is like the website to look for jobs. I don't know, I just pretty much used it solely to look for jobs. Sometimes LinkedIn, add me on LinkedIn, guys. But the Indeed platform, just super easy to use, and I felt like every job was posted on there. So I felt like I was getting, the biggest opportunity from looking at Indeed. So I went on Indeed that evening, tears rolling down my face, and I see a ad. Okay, this is like the one that's at the top. When I search my keywords, which I had like a handful of keywords that I would always search. It was nutrition, health, media, research. A bunch of weird jobs would come up that didn't really quite fit. And this one was advertised. So it was at the very top. And everything about it was like, what? How is this a job? How is this right here in front of me right now? It's everything I want. It's seems like kind of academic, but kind of businessy, and I just can't, like, it's nutrition related. It's so perfect. I couldn't even spend time going through the application because I was so excited and so, like, I guess anxious, or I felt a sense of urgency. Let's put it that way. So since I felt this sense of urgency, I decided to go to their website and call. That move was key. It was like the key to the whole rest of the story, because I got on the phone with the right person. I got my resume looked at first, even though there were 70 applications, because I just like connected with the person on the phone, I sort of just, exclaimed how excited I was and kind of asked a couple of key questions. And I was really honest, you know, I was like, I'm straight out of college. Is this actually, you know, I have my filter on entry level. Is this actually an entry level job? You know, here's some of my experience, and do you think I could add value, and that kind of thing. And just a couple key questions that helped me really get my resume looked at. And they told me that they would look at my resume and email me, you know, if they wanted to set up an interview next week. This was like on a Tuesday. So then the next day, on a Wednesday, I get an email that they want me to come in for an interview on Friday. So I go in on Friday, and my first day at the job ends up being the following Tuesday. And the rest is history. Now it's been since May, so it's a lot of months. I think I'm gonna have to stop the video here just because it's getting too long. So I look forward to chatting with you guys more about